Hey guys, and welcome back. So everyone in my house is currently feeling a little under the weather, including me, so excuse my voice. My son is sleeping and my other two kids are having some quiet time resting because they don't feel good as well. And I figured nothing makes me feel better than starting seeds, so I'm gonna start some more seeds. I've got everything out and ready, so I'm gonna show you guys how I start my petunias, my snapdragons, and my carnations. So my petunia seeds that I'll be starting are ones that I saved. And these are pelleted, so they're going to be easier to work with. It just means that they have a coating on them. These ones are ones that I saved, so they're just tiny little seeds in there. My Snapdragon seeds that I saved are from this packet originally, and I do have a couple left in the bottom here, so I'm going to plant these as well as the ones that I saved. Again, super tiny little seeds in the bottom there. So I'm going to show you how I plant those. These are the other color Snapdragons I'll be planting this year. These are from Baker Creek. And finally, my Carnations. So I have these ones that I purchased, and then I have these 5 little seeds that I saved from my pink ones, and I'll put a picture up here of what they looked like last year. Carnations are one of my favorite things to grow. The seeds are kind of the same size as an onion seed, so they're not as tiny as the petunias and the Snapdragons, but they are still pretty small, and they are a flower that takes a while. So like I said, the Snapdragon seeds and the petunia seeds are really, really tiny. I will actually put a little close-up of each as I open them, but let me show you what the pelleted ones look like. You can get a lot of pelleted seeds. I want to say that Park Seed Co. actually had the most variety of pelleted seeds that I've found. So let's start with our petunias, and I will start with these pelleted ones just so you can see what the coating looks like. The coating is just like a dissolvable coating that is put on a lot of seeds that are super tiny. Sorry, I'm just checking the baby monitor. Let me get these out for you. So these are the pelleted seeds, and as you can see, they are still pretty tiny, but they are nowhere near as tiny as they actually are. I will show you guys the non-pelleted ones as soon as I get these planted. I used to use a toothpick. I no longer do that. I'll put up a picture of me using a toothpick to plant Snapdragons. It takes forever. And I don't push these in or put holes or anything like that. I just set them on top of the soil, and then I'm going to show you what I do when I get them on top. Again, the pelleted seeds are just easier to work with. So you can see there's one there, there. I did 2 here. 1 there, 2 here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2. And I'm just going to lightly push these into the dirt. I'm not going to cover them. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to give them a light little push. That way they don't fall out. And you want to be extra careful as you're pushing them down because you don't want to cover them, and your finger will also get damp from the moist soil, and you could pick up and move seeds into different cells if you're not paying attention. So just be super careful. I've got them all pushed down, and then before I label them, I'm going to put the finest dusting of vermiculite on them. I also really like this brand of vermiculite just because it's super fine. So I'm just going to take a little pinch and sprinkle it over. I'm just trying not to make a mess because we are in the house right now. We're not out in the greenhouse. Hopefully soon we'll be starting seeds in the greenhouse. But this will just tell me which 6-packs I've already planted in if I cover them with vermiculite as I go along. Okay, so our first 3 are the Garden Party Blend Petunias. I'm gonna label those real quick, just with some tags, and then I'm gonna move on to the other petunias, and I'll show you how small those ones are. I use the vermiculite to help me cover small seeds, not only to keep them kind of in the trays, but also for moisture. I like to bottom water my small seeds. I find that watering is more efficient that way, and the soil stays moist longer. For the teeny tiny petunia seeds that do not have the coating on them, I am going to use a light colored plate and I'm going to just dump a few out. These ones I am going to sow a lot thicker just because, like I said, I no longer do the toothpick method. That's great if you have the patience and the time for it. I don't really care if I have one seed per cell, so I no longer do that. But let me show you how little these seeds are. And you want to be careful. You don't want to breathe too hard either. Let me zoom you in. Okay, there's still quite a bit of debris in here, and the best way I've found to separate these tiny seeds from the debris, or the most of the debris, is to use a fine metal mesh strainer, just like a kitchen strainer. But all these little tiny round black things are the seeds. Obviously, like this stick, and all these brown things are debris from the seed pods, but all of these are seeds. And I am not going to be planting all of these, but I'm just going to use my finger, push it down, collect a bunch of the seeds, and sprinkle them into the 6-packs. These are my favorite color, and I'll put a picture up on the screen to show you guys what they look like when they're in bloom. So because I am going to sow these more chaotic gardening style, I am going to take the 6-packs out just so I don't disrupt the other seeds that I've already sown. Because these are so tiny and I can't see them like I can the pelleted ones, I'm not going to push them down. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to sprinkle the vermiculite on them, and I'm going to bottom water and hope for the best that none of them move around. This is why people choose to buy pelleted seeds from flower seeds that are super tiny, just because, like I said, they're much easier to work with than dealing with these itty bitty little seeds. So there's a couple different options with this method. So as these grow and fill in, I could just use tweezers and individually pull them and plant them up into pots. That way all my petunias are in single pots. I plant one out at a time or use them for hanging baskets that way. The other option is the option that I'm going to use. I'm just going to let them grow in the 6-packs the way that they would, and as they grow, I'll either snip them if there is too many, or when they're grown and I'm ready to plant them, I'll just rip the root ball right in half and plant 2 as 2 different plants, even if there are 3 or 4 in each clump of root balls, if that makes sense. Do you get what I'm saying? All right, I just finished this tray in these purple blue petunias, and I still have a ton of seeds left. I'm just gonna pour them right back in here. I used a fraction of the ones that I had saved. I'm gonna cover the rest of this tray in vermiculite, and I'm going to label the rest of my petunias and then grab another tray. So Snapdragon seeds are a lot like petunia seeds. They're super tiny, and I'm not going to reuse this plate. However, I am going to get another one and use the same method. These Snapdragon seeds are not pelleted. I'm not sure if you can get pelleted Snapdragon seeds. I've never purchased pelleted Snapdragon seeds. The ones that I saved obviously were not pelleted. And again, these are super tiny, just like the petunias. Let me check these ones and see if these are. I doubt it. Like I said, I've never purchased Snapdragons that have been pelleted. I'm sure you could. No, these ones are not. So these ones are absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to see these ones this year. So I am going to do, I want to say half a tray of these and half a tray of the white ones, but we will see how many this pack does. So I'm going to start with these ones just because I do have a ton of the white seeds, and see how far these ones get me. If these fill a whole tray, I will do a whole tray of these and a whole tray of the white Snapdragons. This one says, how many seeds? Oh no. I don't think this one says on, okay, right here. Minimum 200 seeds. Okay. So it depends on how heavy I sow these. I'm going to try and fill this whole tray and then do a full tray of the white Snapdragons. They're just so pretty. Like, I know that I need room for vegetables, but I also need flowers. And luckily these can handle the cold, so by the time that these are planted out, I'll be starting other vegetables. Okay, there is a couple little seeds stuck in the bottom. Again, I don't want to breathe too heavy or make too much movement because the seeds are really tiny and they will spread. but just to give you an idea of how little they are. These are a little bit bigger than the petunia seeds though. So I'm just using my hand to try and grab 2 seeds and be super careful. Put them in one seed cell, push them down, make sure that they're not stuck to my finger over that same seed cell, and then leave them. Again, you don't want to cover them. I'm going to cover them with the vermiculite and I'm going to bottom water, that way they don't get disturbed up top. The reason I used to do this with a toothpick is just so I could be more precise. Okay, I just finished this whole tray, and as you can see, I still have over half the seeds, so I'm going to save these. I do not think I need more than a full tray of one specific color of Snapdragons, especially since I tried my best to plant 2 seeds per cell. But now I'm going to do another tray of the white ones. And just like the last tray, I'm going to cover this with vermiculite, and I'm going to label each 6-pack individually, so that way if we do move these out to the greenhouse, we can take them out of the tray and reuse the tray for other 6-packs and bottom watering. I like to bottom water when the seedlings are small, just so we don't disrupt them. And as they get bigger, I'm less worried about disrupting them. These are extremely time consuming to plant, and that's probably the hardest part about planting them. My son actually just woke up, so I'm gonna go get him and I will finish the video later when my husband gets home. Okay, my husband's home, we just finished dinner, and I'm gonna get another tray and do the white Snapdragons next. I am officially all out of trays that I can bottom water in. The rest of my trays all have holes at the bottom. Let's get to planting. I am going to start with the ones that I have left in the bag, and I'm going to use my little plate. I still have a bunch left. I may not even need to use the seeds that I saved. I might just sprinkle those outside when the weather's warm. Bless you. So with the rest of the seeds that I had in the packet, I was able to do 7 6-packs, and I already covered them with vermiculite. I'm gonna label all of these, and like I said, the ones that I saved, I think I might just sprinkle outside when it gets warm. As for the last couple of 6-packs, I am going to start the carnation seeds in those. These are a lot bigger. Like I said, they look more like an onion seed. These are the few that I saved. So with the carnation seeds, I am just going to set the seed into the 6-pack and take the back side, the small side of my little tool, and push it down ever so slightly. I am also going to cover them with vermiculite just because it helps with the moisture, but I'm not pushing them down far at all. And because this is just tedious and boring to watch, I am going to finish planting the carnations and put on a sideman video, and I will be back when I'm done. Okay guys, we just finished up with our flowers and we did 3 full trays. We have a full tray of the cherry twist Snapdragons. We have a tray of the blue petunias and the garden party petunias, and a half tray of the snow white snaps, and then a half tray of the carnations. So our next video, I'm going to be doing our long growing herbs, our cold weather herbs. And I do have to run out to the greenhouse to get my mister because this spray bottle is not going to cut it. I'm worried that it's going to blow all the lightweight seeds around. But it looks pretty good. I've still got 1 tray down on the bottom that I can start my herbs in, and I do have a bunch more 6-packs out in the greenhouse that I'm probably going to have to use. So I'll see you guys next video.